changing my voice. This video is very important. I suggest that you rally to me in person so that you can hear it in person, so you know that they're not editing the videos or anything else. Okay, this video is about women and what they need to do and why. A wife from God is in the Royal African Falcon Top Martial Arts Order. Let me prove this. All right, Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. He who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. So what's the difference between a prostitute and a wife? Well, a wife comes through the divine order, right? The throne is established through justice. The divine verdict is on the mouth of the king, okay? And a king's heart, when it's in the Lord's hands, is like a stream of water that he channels to those who please him. Okay, so she must be right with the King of Kings, and she must be right with God, okay, to be a true potential wife or wife. So there's several scriptures that are key here. Proverbs 18:22, he who finds a wife finds what is good and receives favor from the Lord. And Proverbs 19:14, houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. Notice how it says prudent. A prudent wife is from the Lord. So he who finds a prudent, and we'll get to Proverbs 31 where it says a wife of noble character. So a prudent wife who's a wife of noble character, and the key word is character. We hear Martin Luther King say he wants people to judge people. He wanted people to judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin or anything else. Okay, so noble character. Okay, truly virtuous. Okay, and in martial arts, you know, are the main things they're about is character. And I've made a recent video about martial arts intelligence and martial arts and the link to intelligence. It was very good to help you understand that. All right. Proverbs 18:23, the poor plead for mercy and the rich answer harshly. 24, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Because of the location of the scripture, we can assume that they're referring to God and referring to a wife, right? It is not good for him to be alone. Let me make him a suitable helper is what God says in Genesis. So it's very important that women use the proper scale, because you don't want the righteous to come to ruin. You want the wicked, and it's extremely important that you accurately define what the righteous is, and you don't listen to anyone but me. You have one teacher, and that is the Messiah. And you'll find that everything I say is consistent with universal pinpointing moral precision. You'll find in this video especially, there's nothing in this video that is not morally precise. It is all precisely right to say. Proverbs 19:1, better the poor whose walk is blameless than a fool whose lips are perverse. A fool whose lips are perverse. Okay? Perverse is similar to the word perverted for a reason, because it is perverted to cheat the Royal African Falcon Top Martial Arts out of his right to lead. The simplest way to understand that term is think of far more righteous and morally precise than Martin Luther King, okay, the king of his tribe. His name's even Martin Luther King. Before Martin Luther, I am. Okay, I am Christ. My throne has been established through focused moral intensity, righteousness and justice, universal pinpointed moral precision, generational righteousness, truth, deeds, righteous deeds, and more. All right, so houses and wealth are inherited from parents, but a prudent wife is from the Lord. 18, discipline your children, for in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. So notice in 14, it says a prudent wife is from the Lord. And in verse 18, in this chapter 19 of Proverbs, it says that discipline your children, because in that there is hope. Do not be a willing party to their death. Do not be part of the greater societal illness which leads them to rebel against my lead. Now, what is my lead? It's moral precision. Okay, as you see, I'm attempting to lead the viewers in this video, and I anticipate that it won't be successful, but I'm delivering the message from God, which is to obey God through the king, and I'll overkill that in this video. So it says discipline them. Okay, discipline them enough to respect those who are more righteous than they are. Okay, discipline your daughters to put righteousness before relying on themselves, and they're out of the divine order, out of touch with God, judgment, which is the judgment of a fool. with all due respect if any is due. Anyway, all the parents of the world from my parents' generation on, but my parents failed and will be held accountable for being a willing party to extreme romantic injustice, and those sarcastic dogs caused the spiritual deaths of their offspring. So, should I chastise them? Better is open rebuke than love that is hidden. Okay, so I was right to say it that way. So you understand that this is serious enough to chastise people, though it saddens me to some degree that it's come to this. 20. Listen to advice, in the divine order, of course, my advice only, and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. So if they're not saying to obey God through me, don't listen to them. If they're saying, hey, do this, 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 and this, but trying to find a way to not obey God through this guy, okay, don't listen to them. They have not proven spiritual power. I have. The kingdom of heaven is not a matter of mere talk and human words and reading scripture. It is a matter of proven spiritual power. "28. A corrupt witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked gulps down evil." So you might say, what does that have to do with romantic justice? A corrupt, you see, they talk about Jehovah's Witnesses. A corrupt witness, a corrupt person who's a witness to the events that happened in their life, who claim to be witnesses to divine events at times, they mock at doing the king justice. The throne is established through justice, and you think you don't have to do me justice by giving me my right to lead. I'll overkill that in this video, that you must give me my right to lead, or else you go to hell. A corrupt witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked gulps down evil. They refuse to do the right thing, so they're eating the bread of wickedness instead of the bread of God's presence. Righteousness, justice, godliness is righteousness in its true form. Verse 29, penalties are prepared for mockers and beatings for the backs of fools. If you think my words are too harsh, then why does Proverbs say? In Proverbs 19:29, the penalties are prepared for mockers and beatings for the backs of fools. What could you say? And this isn't the only time it says this. Proverbs is full of this truth. And keep in mind, they're changing my voice and making it harder for me to explain. And they make it so I'm inclined to say it the way I've been saying it, because it's easier to explain. They're using technologies and fumes. Would I lie to you about this? No. I know there's a bunch of mocking ass cowards who want to pretend that I'm crazy or something, or that it's in my head, or wow, he's making that up. I'm not making that up. And you're an idiot in 2022 if you think that I'm making it up and you think they don't use technology on people they don't like. Anyway, Proverbs 26. Many claim to have unfailing love, but a faithful person who can find. Part of how my throne is established is in faithfulness. Many claim to love their wives, to love their kids. They claim to have unfailing love, but if they did, they would obey God through me, because that's the only way love comes. So a faithful person who can find, a wife of noble character who can find. If they do not obey God through me, they are not truly faithful. They are just a demonic thief playing a game. 7. The righteous lead blameless lives. Blessed are their children after them. You think Proverbs would put that there so that a female marries a wicked person? You think you get married by a priest or a preacher and they superimpose their churches on the true church of God because God meant for you? Do you think that God meant for you to marry a wicked person instead of a righteous person? Then why does it say, blessed are their children after them? Blessed are their children spiritually and figuratively speaking, and blessed are their children literally, unless their children mess up. Even the righteous man does not want children. Who do you think the attractive female should date? Is what I put in the note. 8. When a king sits on his throne to judge, he winnows out evil with his eyes. Does the average attractive female winnow out evil with her eyes and her actions? Does she masterfully walk in the way of righteousness along the path of justice, or does she walk in the way of self-righteousness at best in a wicked spirit? A spirit of cheating me out of my right to lead, even if they do not know who I am, which means those who are in my vicinity, it behooves them to put me on a stand so that other people know who I am, and when they do not, or should I say if they do not, before I die, then they are slack in their work to such an extreme. The whole world is depending on Santa Clara County to acknowledge me as Christ and to spread the good news and to tell people by their actions to obey God through me. When they don't do it, curses on them. Is that not the fair and divine judgment? Follow my train of thought. Watch this video series several times. Okay, see Proverbs 16:10 through 13. Despite the message of the churches who deal in Western theater arts, this points to a moral order. Proverbs 16:10 in the various versions, if you read them, it says a divine verdict. God's judgment is on the lips of a king. Proverbs 16:12, kings detest wrongdoing, for a throne is established through righteousness. A throne is established through justice. Kings detest romantic injustice because a throne is established through justice. People of God detest romantic injustice because God is a God of justice. Psalm 50. God is exalted and God is known by his righteous acts, not by turning a blind eye to romantic injustice. That is a profound sin against God, especially when people get married in the church and with preachers and priests and so on and so forth. Let's see here. 9. Who can say, I have kept my heart pure, I am clean without sin? I am clean without sin. I have kept my heart pure, and we'll overkill that shortly. 10. Differing weights and differing measures, the Lord detests them both. 11. Even small children are known by their actions. So is their conduct really pure and upright? So Proverbs says, look at their actions. Jesus said in the New Testament, you will know them by their fruit, by their deeds, by their actions, by their works. My top martial arts challenge. 3 decades of trying to reason with people on the internet. 2009 recorded for the public to see. The government knows since I was about 11 years old. About 1993 or 4 or something. Okay? I've been trying to reason with people and trying to talk romantic justice and trying to seek God's kingdom, trying to restore the divine order, and trying to seek true love. Publicly, openly scrambling to do these things. And really, after a few years, I started getting really good at my arguments and so on and so forth. Anyway, food gained by fraud tastes sweet, but in the end, one ends up with a mouthful of gravel. Okay, it is stupid to go after ill-gotten gains. Proverbs 1:19 says, such are the paths of those who go after ill-gotten gains. It takes away the life, the soul, the heart, the essence of all who get them. My phone's really heating up, so I'm going to have to I'm about to end this soon anyway because 15 minutes is part 1. I haven't got past page 1, so let's speed it up a little bit here. All right, 27. The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being. Okay, goes without saying. Okay, as the king winnows out evil, he takes note of the house of the wicked and brings it to ruin. He says these people are in the American spirit and not in God's spirit. They're in the spirit of this Mormon, Catholic, Lutheran, Pentecostal, Baptists, you name it, they're in the spirit of these denominations, the demons in Alpha Shun, and they're not in God's spirit. And I take note that these people did not acknowledge me as Christ and did not scramble to obey God through me, and I bring all their churches and all the cultures to ruin, and so on and so forth. Okay, 30. Blows and wounds scrub away evil, and beatings purge the inmost being. But if there's nothing good left because it was their destiny to be outside the divine order after I'm gone, then their whole soul gets sent to hell. And that's how it purges evil from those who went to heaven. It separates the wicked from the righteous, and it purges the souls of the wicked from the righteous among their nations, if there are any. That's part of what I'm here for, the final slice, the final division, the final sword chop. Okay? Proverbs 21:1. In the Lord's hand, the king's heart is a stream of water that he channels toward all who please him. Does it please me that you rebel? Does it please me that you're in cultures across the world that don't know God? The cultures right here that won't obey God through me? Does it please me when you're supposed to have explored morality as a human race all this time, and the best you can do is come together as globalists representing all the cultures in the world, pretty much, and shun me on behalf of your cultures? Like it or not, God chose you people, Native American, white, Hispanic, black, African, Asian, Middle Eastern, you name it. He chose you people to represent your cultures. You do not have an option in this. When you do not give me my rightful place, you show me that your cultures and your races are wicked trash to be discarded. Because God knows best, and this is the end. There's no way to be righteous after I'm gone. You are the people that represent your cultures. You have been randomly or otherwise selected. You are it. All right. 2, a person may think their ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart. 7. The violence of the wicked drags them away, for they refuse to do what is right. Also drags their people away when they represent for a amount of time.